It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. It is not light that we need, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel the society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. 1. And God make majority. The soul that is within me, no man can degrade. I prayed for 20 years, but received no answer, until I prayed with my legs. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery. No man can put a chain about the ankle of his fellow man, without at last finding the other end fastened about his own neck. We have to do with the past only, as we can make it useful to the present and the future. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false, and to incur my own abhorrence. Experience demonstrates that there may be a wages of slavery only a little less galling and crushing in its effects than chattel slavery, and that the slavery of wages must go down with the other. People might not get all they work for in this world, but they must certainly work for all they get. I am a Republican, a black, dyed-in-the-wool Republican, and I never intend to belong to any other party than the party of freedom and progress. A battle lost or won is easily described, understood, and appreciated, but the moral growth of a great nation requires reflection, as well as observation, to appreciate it. The thing worse than rebellion is the thing that causes rebellion. A little learning, indeed, may be a dangerous thing, but the want of learning is a calamity to any people. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free.
Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation, are people who want crops without plowing the ground, they want rain without thunder and lightning, they want the ocean without the roar of its many waters. The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both. But it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will.
I would unite with anybody to do right, and with nobody to do wrong. Slaves are generally expected to sing as well as to work. Slaves sing most when they are most unhappy. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of his heart, and he is relieved by them, only as an aching heart is relieved by its tears. A gentleman will not insult me, and no man not a gentleman can insult me.
The marriage institution cannot exist among slaves, and 1/6 of the population of democratic America is denied its privileges by the law of the land. What is to be thought of a nation boasting of its liberty, boasting of its humanity, boasting of its Christianity, boasting of its love of justice and purity, and yet having within its own borders 3 millions of persons denied by law the right of marriage?
In a composite nation like ours, as before the law, there should be no rich, no poor, no high, no low, no white, no black, but common country, common citizenship, equal rights and a common destiny.
A woman should have every honorable motive to exertion which is enjoyed by man, to the full extent of her capacities and endowments. The case is too plain for argument. Nature has given woman the same powers, and subjected her to the same earth, breathes the same air, subsists on the same food, physical, moral, mental and spiritual. She has, therefore, an equal right with man, in all efforts to obtain and maintain a perfect existence.
Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have the exact measure of the injustice and wrong which will be imposed on them. Some know the value of education by having it. I know its value by not having it. A smile or a tear has not nationality. Joy and sorrow speak alike to all nations, and they, above all the confusion of tongues, proclaim the brotherhood of man. You have seen how a man was made a slave, you shall see how a slave was made a man.
Allowing only ordinary ability and opportunity, we may explain success mainly by one word, and that word is work. 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 Not transient and fitful effort, but patient, enduring, honest, unremitting and indefatigable work into which the whole heart is put. There is no royal road to perfection.
The silver trump of freedom roused in my soul eternal wakefulness. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. I didn't know I was a slave until I found out I couldn't do the things I wanted. Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren. The relation between the white and colored people of this country is the great, paramount, imperative, and all-commanding question for this age and nation to solve. Men talk of the Negro problem. There is no Negro problem. The problem is whether the American people have honesty enough, loyalty enough, honor enough, patriotism enough to live up to their Constitution. I will give Mr. Freeland the credit of being the best master I ever had, till I became my own master. The Christianity of America is a Christianity, of whose votaries it may be as truly said, as it was of the ancient scribes and Pharisees, they bind heavy burdens, and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Immense wealth, and its lavish expenditure, fill the great house with all that can please the eye, or tempt the taste. Here, appetite, not food, is the great desideratum. Having no resources within himself, he was compelled to be the copyist of many, and being such, he was forever the victim of inconsistency. I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. I therefore hate the corrupt, slave-holding, women-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial and hypocritical Christianity of this land.